when you really love someone who has an addiction, it's got to come up for you. How do you get an addict to stop? Let's take that on together. I don't know if we can. You might know, Blue.
Maybe.
Since you work with addiction and recovery, it's what you do full time. So I get to pick your brain a little bit on this topic. Stop what?
Stop what?
How to get an addict to stop?
It's a big, broad comment, isn't it? How many attributes go into addiction?
It might be stop using. It might be stop being an idiot. It might be stop ignoring me.
Get off the phone.
Get an addict to stop what? I think because you're here, there's probably people in your life that you're concerned about, people that you love, and you're wondering how to best help them and assist them. And so maybe that's the direction our comments take.
Absolutely.
With the disclaimer that we don't control everything.
I've noticed that. We don't.
You're brilliant.
There we go.
And hope that you've noticed that too, haven't you? Some things you control, other things you don't. So get really clear about what you control and what you don't, because we get to accept it. You know the serenity prayer?
Absolutely.
Of course you're familiar with that.
Yep.
And it has to do with, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Yep.
The courage.
To change the things you can.
And the wisdom.
To know the difference.
Ha!
It's brilliant.
There you go.
I like it.
So help us out here with this, Blue. What have you noticed?
Well, like Dr. Paul says, control is kind of a ghost. It's not going to exist in this world because many times the addict themselves aren't going to truly see it for what you see it as. And so basically it's being able to bring those behaviors and those visuals, those cues, so to speak, to light. This can be a scary process. This can be difficult, but it's a must because it's what cracks the egg to get the egg scrambled there. So what we do at Team Addict to Athlete is talk about specifically what we call the erase and replace philosophy. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if we're going to help them erase their addiction, they're going to have to replace it with something or some things of greater value. Meaning, you can't take an addiction away and have a void left there and then just put in a relationship or maybe a hobby or maybe a service opportunity. There has to be many things that go into that to be able to replace adequately what that addiction gave them.
That is a really important point because addiction is such a multifaceted life experience. Mm-hmm. It's not a simple, I'm addicted because of this. It's really a process that evolves over time that is affected by so many aspects of life.
Absolutely. Which
is something that I've loved about your Addict to Athlete program because erase the addiction, yes, but what are we going to replace it with? What's going to take the place of all of the things that addiction has been serving over the years that it's been evolving?
And then what the purpose of its use was. Many people that find themselves addicted to something are doing it for a specific reason. And so when we're replacing that, it has to have some kind of component with some kind of foundation that can be built upon what they're missing. Now that sounds kind of deep and kind of like a therapeutic realm there. But basically, get down to the basics, Things that are going to help them stay clean and recover thoroughly are relationships. Those are the things that we struggle with the most in addictions. And then, of course, how to occupy time. And when we do service as kind of a capstone to that, many great things can happen, but it has to be more than one and it has to be frequent. So once you engage in helping an addict remove social media or friendships or old acquaintances, be prepared to invest, not just yourself, but many people. We call it establishing a home team, bringing people from all over to help. Your
relationship is really important here. And Blue, you're acknowledging that even though that's important, it's probably not sufficient for that person to overcome a very complex pattern that has led to the addiction in the first place.
Absolutely.
But for you personally, to keep a focus on that relationship, and tell me if you think this fits, Blue. We shift our focus from the addiction to the relationship. Does that sound fair?
Part of it, yes.
Okay.
Because that relationship has to be one part of the greater whole. Again, when we erase and replace, we replace it with more than one thing. The relationship has to come first. Because, let's just say, for instance, a social media. You got yourself your phone, and you're kind of addicted to the phone. You're checking it multiple times throughout the night. You're not talking about husband and wife, parent child. There's no communication there.
So we're not talking about just like heroin addiction or opiates and heavy drugs or alcohol.
It could be anything that takes time away from what normal behavior would illustrate. And so too much of anything can make you an addict.
Yes. Now, you said it's part of it, so the relationship is a piece of it.
Yep.
There's a lot of control issues that addicts typically struggle with.
Absolutely.
How would you suggest that we address that piece of it?
Well, remember, the control is basically a ghost. When you boil it down, does it really exist? It really is a situation of placing dominance over another person. When you're walking and pulling someone to recovery, it's going to be a lot different than if you're walking beside them. So control would be pushing them or pulling them to the direction you want to go, but the arm around their shoulder approach, guiding them through the experience, helping them see things they didn't notice, helping receive feedback of reasons why they're putting so much time into those situations, issues, social media, or substances is going to be crucial. Everyone uses whatever for a specific purpose and reason. We got to find out what that purpose and reason is.
There are some subtle distinctions here too, and your discussion of this, Blue, is so helpful because I'm picturing that if my loved one who's addicted is my son or my daughter who's a juvenile, that's different than if the person who's addicted is my spouse or my brother or my sister or a friend.
Yeah.
Because there's a different control dynamic that happens between parents and kids than there is between spouses, for example, or between work colleagues.
It's very true.
So we're going to take a little different approach depending on what our relationship is, what the nature of our relationship is with that person.
Yeah, and you can't do it alone. You have to recruit and have more home team members come to your court. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself overwhelmed, you'll find yourself outnumbered, and you'll find yourself getting tired and want to give up the process.
Home team and coaches. Can you talk about coaches for a minute? Because
you're a coach. I'm a coach.
Coach?
In a few different ways.
Absolutely.
Us. A coach comes from the Old West. A stagecoach is moving someone from one place to another.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that definition.
Absolutely. So moving one place to another by giving instruction, by guiding, and by coaching, doing it through motivation instead of force, and being able to provide tips and experiences and situations that are going to allow them to sometimes fail, but learn from those failures. Literally, as you speak highly of, turning the mess into a message. Service is a huge part of all of this, and when we can coach them into positions to provide a service, to share their story, to be willing to talk about this with others, that's where true healing has a major effect.
In a more common or more modern definition of coach, we think of sports teams.
Yep.
Where it's not the coach that goes and wins the game.
No.
The coach is kind of on the sidelines.
Absolutely.
And it's the coach that's able to see and observe what the talents are, what the skill set is, what challenges we're up against.
Absolutely.
And give enough direction that then the players are the ones who win the game.
The team captains, the players, all those are the ones that make the plays happen.
I want to put in a little plug for you too, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Live on Purpose TV today. Blue is a skilled coach, and if you're finding yourself wondering, well, what do I do in my situation? Whether it's Blue or someone else that you reach out to, find the coaches that will assist you in helping your loved one and informing that home team like you were talking about. Blue works with this kind of stuff all the time, and you can find him at liveonpurpose.coach, where you scroll down to the coaches area. You just look for his gorgeous mug right there.
For his face here.
You'll be able to connect with him if you have specific questions. Are you willing to field some specifics?
That's what we do. You bet.
So reach out, and whether it's Blue or some other qualified individual who can help you to get into that position, you don't have to do this alone. In fact, I don't think you can.
No, it's not even advisable. Yep, you need help.
It's not safe.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and the help is available. So reach out, jump in, and let's support each other too, because there are people that then you can assist and mentor because of what you've learned through the process that you're going through. So keep that perspective also.
Absolutely.
As you go through this. I'll bet as we were having this conversation today, you thought of some people that could really use this information. Would you please share this video with them?